Your neighbors are going to walk past your green summer garden this July and stop to look at your colorful flowers. They did not make the critical decision to plant hardy perennial plants during the warm June sun. Most homeowners assume the summer heat will kill new root systems and leave behind dry brown grass and wilting blossoms. They believe that once the spring season ends, the planting window for the entire year completely closes. They are wrong. While your neighbors are giving up on their yards and settling for dusty brown wood mulch, you are about to exploit a high-growth window that big box garden centers never talk about. Today, we are breaking down 17 indestructible perennials that you can plant right now in the month of June. These are not delicate annual flowers that need to be babied, sheltered, and misted every hour of the day. These are the absolute thugs of the summer garden, biologically engineered to hit the ground running when the thermometer rises and the intense UV rays bake the earth. If you get these permanent roots in the dirt in the next 14 days, your yard will look completely full, completely alive, and absolutely covered in vivid color before the summer ends. You are moving away from the exhausting cycle of wasting money on temporary plants and building a lifetime landscape asset. Plant number 1 is the bright red and yellows. Gaillardia Blanket Flower, blooming beautifully in dry, sandy soil. If you have a spot in your yard that feels like a hot desert, this is the survivor you need. It loves a sun-drenched landscape and produces continuous waves of red blossoms until the winter frost arrives. The reason it handles poor earth perfectly is due to its native prairie genetics. It thrives in high temperatures and low moisture conditions that would instantly shrivel standard nursery plants. It creates a low, mounding shape that prevents weeds from establishing nearby. As the summer progresses, it multiplies its own colony by dropping seeds naturally into the surrounding dirt, expanding your garden beds for free. Plant number 2 is the tall purple Russian sage plant, blowing in the wind against a blue sky. If you need structural height along your property lines and a plant that looks like a cloud of lavender smoke floating in the heat haze, this is it. It thrives in a dry, rocky landscape with no extra water because it features aromatic silver-gray foliage. This woody perennial is native to the harsh, high-elevation steppes of Central Asia, meaning it loves poor soil and intense sunshine. Wild rabbits and destructive garden pests walk right past these herbal leaves because they hate the scent of the natural oils inside the foliage. It creates a permanent biological barrier that looks elegant while acting as a natural shield for your more sensitive backyard plants. Plant number 3 is the electric yellow. Angelina Sedum ground cover spreading over garden stones and walkway edges. Stop buying expensive bags of dyed wood mulch every single year. Angelina Sedum is living mulch. This succulent ground cover forms a dense, interlocking carpet of green and gold stems that completely blocks out sunlight from reaching invasive weed seeds in the soil. In the heat of July, it stays bright, plump, and juicy while your turf grass turns brown and dormant. In the winter chill, the tips of this succulent turn a striking shade of orange and copper, giving your garden winter structure when everything else is flat and bare. Plant number 4 is the pink Echinacea coneflower, blooming with a colorful monarch butterfly landing on the petals. If you want a yard that is alive with native pollinators, bumblebees, and songbirds, this native plant is an absolute necessity for your property. It develops a deep, aggressive taproot, anchoring down into dark subterranean dirt to find hidden water reserves during a severe summer drought. While surface-rooted plants wilt and collapse, the coneflower stands perfectly straight and tall. When the autumn ends, do not cut the spent flower stems down. Leave the dried cone heads standing all winter long so wild goldfinches and sparrows can eat the highly nutritious seeds. During the freezing winter frost, plant number 5 is the bright electrica, orange butterfly weed, blossom growing in intense open sunlight. This vibrant native perennial needs absolutely no synthetic fertilizer and loves to grow in your poorest, driest backyard soil. It features thick, coarse green leaves that hold moisture inside perfectly. It is a critical host plant for the monarch butterfly life cycle, meaning the adult butterflies will actively seek out your yard to lay eggs. By adding this plant to your landscape this June, you are creating a functional wildlife sanctuary while adding a massive burst of neon orange color that commands attention from the street. Plant number 6 is the beautiful yellow. Black-eyed Susan flower blooming heavily in a sweeping colony. While other spring flowers peak early and fade away by mid-summer, this plant hits its stride in the intense late summer heat of August. It is the definition of an American garden workhorse. A single nursery pot bought this June can be divided into multiple separate plants using a sharp metal spade shovel to expand your garden layout for free. This reliable cultivar produces a dense mass of golden blossoms with dark chocolate centers that look brilliant in the late afternoon August light. The root bundles spread out laterally underneath the surface, locking your topsoil into place and preventing heavy rains from washing away your valuable dirt. Plant number 7 is the feathery green yarrow plant, with flat white flower clusters growing in cracked, dry clay soil. This tough flowering herb releases natural allelopathic compounds directly into the ground soil to suppress invasive weed seed germination around its root zone. It acts as an organic, living weed barrier that works for you 24 hours a day. Poor neglected soil actually makes this plant stand taller and produce cleaner flowers, whereas rich fertilizer and excessive watering make it lazy, weak, and floppy. Give it your absolute worst patch of dirt and let it take over the space. It is a fantastic choice for open slopes and dry fields. Before we move to the next plant, we must address the exact physical technique required to make June planting successful. A hand must pour a full gallon of water from a plastic watering can into a deep garden hole before the plant ever touches the dirt. Creating a deep, muddy puddle inside the planting hole allows the subsoil roots to survive the baking surface heat of summer. This simple watering trick is known as the puddle method. It is the ultimate strategy for total summer planting success in a bare backyard because it coaxes the expanding root system to grow downward toward the deep, cool subterranean moisture reservoir rather than staying near the hot, dry surface dirt. If you want a beautiful yard that takes care of itself, click the red YouTube subscribe button and click the notification bell icon right now to join our smart gardening community. We post deep dives every week to save you money and time. Plant number 8 is the pocket of lush lavender blue catmint bushes cascading beautifully over a stone paver pathway edge. If wild deer or neighborhood rabbits have ruined your flower beds 2 years running, this aromatic herb is your ultimate solution. Its leaves are intensely fragrant and packed with essential oils that repel foraging animals before they ever take a single bite out of your garden border. Using garden shears to cut the green plant stems back by half after the first bloom, flush ends will encourage a massive, rapid second wave of purple flowers that lasts straight through the autumn season. Plant number 9 is the thick green ground cover layer of true hardy geranium perennials, growing in deep shade under a large tree. Do not confuse this tough plant with the annual grocery store geraniums that turn mushy and die at the very first sign of winter frost. This true perennial ground cover handles dry shade and intense tree root competition for moisture seamlessly. These beautiful pink cranesbill flowers form a dense, low-mounding carpet that chokes out weeds underneath oak and maple trees. In the autumn, the entire foliage mat shifts to a rich, brilliant bronze-red color that illuminates the dark corners of your yard. Plant number 10 is the large dome-shaped purple garden phlox flower, releasing fragrance in the evening. This is a classic, nostalgic heirloom flower that you will literally smell before you see it, filling your outdoor seating area or backyard patio with a sweet perfume. It blooms heavily in mid to late summer when your garden landscape desperately needs a fresh injection of color. You can cut these long pink flower stems and place them inside a glass vase on a home countertop as a premium. Long-lasting cut flower arrangement. Plant number 11 is the New England aster. This is your autumn insurance policy for your property. While your neighbors' yards are completely browning out, losing color, and preparing for winter dormancy in the chilly days of October, this plant explodes into a massive spectacle of deep violets and pinks. It acts as a critical, late-season fueling station for migrating monarch butterflies before their long flight south. In early June, use your fingers to pinch the soft green stems back by half. This simple 2-minute gardening chore encourages massive branching, creating a dense, compact mound that supports itself perfectly without staking and produces triple the amount of fall blooms. Plant number 12 is Coreopsis, commonly known as tickseed. If you want a solid wall of bright yellow that absolutely refuses to stop blooming during a record-breaking summer heatwave, this is your plant. It features fine, thread-like green foliage that adds a beautiful, airy texture to your landscape border. It is incredibly drought-tolerant once established in the dirt, thrives in poor, gravelly soil, and requires zero manual deadheading to keep producing yellow flowers all summer long. Plant number 13 is Perennial Salvia. This plant provides intense, deep purple spikes that contrast beautifully against the rounder leaf shapes and flat lines in your flower beds. Salvias are a direct member of the mint family, meaning their foliage is highly aromatic and completely ignored by destructive deer and rabbits. They peak beautifully in early summer, but if you use your garden shears to cut the spent flower spikes down to the ground once they begin to fade, the plant will rapidly recharge its root system and send up a massive second and third wave of purple spikes before the autumn season ends. Plant number 14 is a jastache, or hummingbird mint. If you want a backyard filled with hyperactive hummingbirds, honeybees, and beneficial pollinators, this plant is an absolute necessity for your yard. It produces long, dramatic spikes of tubular flowers in shades of orange, pink, and purple. The leaves smell exactly like sweet licorice when crushed or brushed against along a garden path. It requires sharp, rapid drainage and absolutely loves the baking heat of a June afternoon, anchoring its root system deep into dry soil where other sensitive plants would literally fry. It stands up to intense sun without dropping its leaves or wilting. Plant number 15 is coral bells, or heuchera. While most perennials are grown exclusively for their flowers, coral bells are grown for their spectacular, high-contrast foliage that lasts all year long. They come in stunning shades of deep lime green, rich caramel, burgundy, and a purple so dark it looks almost black. They are the ultimate living color amplifiers for your landscape design, making every standard green plant around them look richer, brighter, and more vibrant. They handle partial shade and dry summer conditions beautifully, forming neat, clean mounds that look perfect along pathway borders, driveway edges, and retaining walls. Plant number 16 is the Shasta daisy. This is the classic, nostalgic summer flower featuring crisp white petals radiating out from a bright golden yellow center. Cultivars like Becky are incredibly tough and rigid, standing up to heavy summer rainstorms and high winds without flopping over in the mud. They bloom heavily through July and August, providing clean, structural white color right when the summer heat is at its absolute worst. They multiply reliably underground every single season, allowing you to divide the root clump with a shovel every 3 years to get dozens of free plants for the rest of your yard. Plant number 17 is the Blanket Flower Arizona Sun. We began with a native variant, but this compact dwarf cultivar deserves its own spot because it stays under 12 inches tall. If you have a retaining wall, a window box, or a border edge that gets absolutely baked by the hot sun, this compact thug will cover that bare spot in a dense, continuous sheet of brick red and yellow flowers. It requires absolutely no maintenance, handles severe drought, and stays neat and tidy all season long without any trimming. Every single plant on this list represents a permanent financial investment in your property lines. When you plant these 17 perennials this June using the puddle method, you are officially walking away from the wasteful cycle of cheap annual flowers. You are building a permanent landscape that grows for free, increases your home's curb appeal, and takes care of itself year after year. You are no longer treating your home landscape like a temporary grocery store purchase that dies at the first heat wave. Instead, you are establishing a legacy garden that becomes more resilient, more beautiful, and wider every single season. These 17 plants are your long-term infrastructure. They are going to secure your soil, keep the surrounding ground shaded against weeds, and feed your native ecosystems without requiring you to stand outside with a water hose for hours every weekend. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you don't miss next week's deep dive on landscape renovations. And drop your comment below telling me which plant you are putting in the ground first. Happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next video.